Hello dear viewers, welcome to ERi-TV English News broadcast for today, Wednesday, 17 December. I'm Barsaba Takhla and these are the major headlines for today. Minister Osman Saleh meets his Swedish counterpart. Meetings on timely and effective administrative services in the southern region. Iran and Russia agree to accelerate a strategic north-south transport corridor. And the US threatens to retaliate against the EU tech regulation. And your local reports. Minister Osman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs, met and held talks with Ms. Maria Malmer Stenergard, Swedish Minister of Foreign Affairs, at his office this afternoon. The two foreign ministers discussed bilateral relations between Eritrea and Sweden, regional developments, as well as peace and security in Africa and the Red Sea region. Likewise, Ms. Luul Gabrab, Minister of Labour and Social Welfare, in a meeting she held with Ms. Maria Malmer Stenergard, provided a briefing on the programs and achievements Eritrea has undertaken to ensure social justice. Ms. Maria Malmer Stenergard arrived in Asmara at midday today for a two-day working visit. Upon arrival at Asmara International Airport, Ms. Maria Malmer Stenergard was welcomed by Mr. Stefanos Habtemariam, Director General of the Desks Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Moving to the southern region, Mr. Habtab Tesfatian, governor of the southern region, conducted meetings with area administrators, focusing on the provision of timely and effective administrative services to the public. At the meetings, which Mr. Habtab held with area administrators and managing directors of the subzones of the Kamhare, Tsorona, Saganeti, Mai'aini, Ad-Qayih, and San'afa from 4 to 14 December, he urged the administrators to properly understand government guidelines and proclamations and work towards providing timely and effective services to the public. Noting that according to Land Proclamation number 58/1994, land belongs to the government and land use should be in accordance with the proclamation, Mr. Habtab called on area administrators to play a due role in resolving conflicts that may arise between villages, as well as violations committed by individuals. Mr. Habtab, indicating that area administrations are the foundation of administrative and developmental activities, called for integrated efforts to strengthen community involvement in the expansion of social service institutions, enhancement of agricultural and infrastructure development, as well as the preservation of natural resources. The participants conducted extensive discussions on the issues raised at the meetings and adopted various recommendations. The southern region is comprised of 12 subzones and 232 administrative areas. In another news, the Executive Board of the National Union of Eritrean Women conducted its annual activity assessment meeting of 2025 and discussed on the implementation of the new strategic plan on 15 and 16 December in Asmara. The meeting was attended by heads of departments, of regions, and in the diaspora. At the meeting, reports were presented and the participants reviewed the charted out programs in terms of achievements registered and challenges encountered, as well as efforts that were conducted to strengthen capacity of the union and livelihoods of members. The reports focused on the role of women in the national affairs, training organized and financial support received to improve the livelihoods of women, promotional activities conducted to enhance awareness of women and to eradicate harmful practices, as well as on the conducive atmosphere created to strengthen youth females and students. Noting that the union is working by designing timely strategic plans with a view to realize its mission and objectives, Ms. Tesfa Mikael, President of the National Union of Eritrean Women, called for active participation of members in the implementation of the programs of the union. The meeting also expressed that organizing programs to enhance political awareness of women, strengthening women's organizations, developing vocational capacity, strengthening women's contribution, enhancing economic capacity, as well as ensuring healthcare service are among the main activities for 2026. Still with your local reports, Eritrean delegation led by Ambassador Nagasi Kasa, Eritrea's ambassador to the European Union and the Benelux countries, participated in the 120th session of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific Council of Ministers, held from 12 to 14 December in Brussels, Belgium. The meeting, which was attended by representatives of 65 countries and chaired by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Solomon Islands, conducted extensive discussions focusing on strengthening the financial capacity of the organization, as well as enhancing strategic partnership with the European Union and other partners. Addressing the session, Ambassador Nagasi underlined that, as stated in the UN Charter, the independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity of states cannot be negotiated or compromised, and that states must refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force. He stressed that unequivocal adherence to these principles enshrined in the UN Charter constitutes a sine qua non condition for peaceful interstate relations. Ambassador Nagasi also called for determination of unjust sanctions imposed on several African Union and Caribbean countries, reiterating that the ever-growing interdependence between peoples and nations necessitates the strengthening and reform of the multilateral system to enable it to address shared threats and harness collective opportunities. Ambassador Nagasi emphasized the urgent need to expedite global-level reforms to make multilateral system more representative, fair and just. He further reaffirmed Eritrea's continued commitment to contribute to the promotion of peace and security in the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea region, as well as to the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States at large. Eritrea, he noted, also remains committed to contributing to collective efforts to make the organization strong and visible on the international stage, and to ensuring that its partnership with the European Union and other strategic partners remains a win-win engagement that adds value to all parties through co-ownership. The viewers will be back with your international report. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Iran's Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council and Russia's Deputy Prime Minister for Transport have underscored the need to accelerate the implementation of the strategic North-South corridor during high-level talks in Tehran. The meeting followed agreements reached at the highest level between presidents of the two countries and aimed at removing existing obstacles and moving the project into its operational phase. During the talks, both sides reviewed the North-South corridor as a key geopolitical component shaping regional connectivity. North-South Transport Corridor is a network of ship, rail and road routes spanning over 7,000 kilometers connecting Northern Europe with Southern Asia. They also agreed to activate high-level follow-up mechanisms and maintain regular coordination among relevant institutions in both countries. And today's final report, yesterday, Tuesday, 16 December, the Office of the United States Trade Representative threatened to take countermeasures against the EU over what it described as the bloc's controversial regulations on service providers. The Office of the U.S. Trade Representative alleged that the EU and certain member states have pursued a sustained pattern of discriminatory and harassing lawsuits, taxes, fines, and directives targeting U.S. service provision. The agency also said that EU service providers have operated freely in the United States for decades, benefiting from access to the U.S. market and consumers, while naming several European technology giants with expansive presence in the country. According to the office, potential countermeasures could include assessing fees or imposing restrictions on foreign services. The agency also warned that it could adopt a similar approach toward other countries pursuing what it called an EU-style regulatory strategy in this area. That was it for today, dear viewers. But before we conclude, a quick reminder of the top stories. Minister Osman Saleh meets his Swedish counterpart. Meetings on timely and effective administrative services in the southern region. Iran and Russia agree to accelerate strategic north-south transport corridor. And the US threatens to retaliate against EU tech regulation. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with more news and developments.